So I'm up early this morning, busy beaver, didn't sleep very well. I made some blueberry banana muffins with my basic muffin mix that I use, and I just substituted brown sugar for the white sugar. And then I put in 2 bananas and about a cup of blueberries. And I'm going to link that video in the description box below of the basic muffin mix. You can make it any way you want. And that way you don't have to buy those little pouches that hardly have anything in them. But I've already eaten 2 and they were giant. So it makes 12 small or 6 large. So I've been busy this morning. I've got my coffee going now. I've already been out weed eating. I've already hung clothes on the line. I have another load going right now. And I'm just now sitting down to have my coffee. So we're going to have some fun today. We're going to go out and forage for some dandelions and make some dandelion bread, which is something I have wanted to do. It was on my wish list for this summer. And we're also going to enjoy the outdoors. And I'm going to show you some stuff that I grew up with that you might find interesting. We'll see. So these 3 little plants have been in the same area, I know, for 53 years because we moved here when I was 5 years old into part of an old schoolhouse. And our farm had nitrate water, and I would sit out here for hours and just play with these touch-me-nots. They have a little pink puff flower that's not blooming right now, but you touch them and they close. Can you see this? You touch them and they close. And then later, after a while, they'll open back up again. It's just a little defense mechanism that the plant has. They're not even supposed to grow in this area, but I absolutely love these. They're the only place I've ever seen them in around here. And so I always find myself going back to them and I have to watch myself or I'm killing too much time still playing with the touch me nots. The best time to look for the dandelions is when the sun comes out because that's when they all open. When it gets hot, they close up. So we're going to get started on this dandelion loaf bread. Now, you know me, if I do not have an ingredient, I'm going to substitute with what I have rather than drive somewhere to get an ingredient. And it calls for half of a cup of honey. Well, I don't have any honey right now, but I do have some light maple syrup. And so I'm just going to substitute that. So it's going to be more of a dandelion maple loaf, and I think it'll be absolutely delicious. So let's get started with the ingredients. So the ingredients you're going to need for this, as I said, it said 1/2 cup of honey, but we're going to use light maple syrup, 1 measured cup of milk, 3 teaspoons of your choice of oil, and then it's going to call for 1 egg. We have 1 egg down here somewhere. And then for our dry ingredients, we need 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2 cups of flour. Now I am going to use the Bob's 1-in-1 gluten-free flour again because my husband is gluten-free. And then it called for a handful of dandelion petals. And I have 1/2 cup that I've been able to scrounge up by looking around, and I got all of those dandelion petals. So, I mean, you can't hurt it by putting a few more in there if you wanted to. And then that is all that this calls for. And then you put it into a greased and floured loaf pan. So I apologize for the view here, but you can see my Czechoslovakian apron that I have on today. I'm going to put in the flour first because I'm going to put in the dry ingredients, and then we're going to kind of make a well for the wet ingredients, and then we're just going to incorporate it until it's moistened and not overdo it with the stirring. I'm not even going to get a beater out for this. So we need 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then that's all the dry ingredients that we need. And then I'm just going to make a well here in the center, and we're going to go ahead and mix in our egg. We're going to put in our honey, which is our syrup. I'm never worried about substitute ingredients. It always comes out fine. And then 1 cup of our measured milk. And don't forget your 3 teaspoons of oil. I almost forgot that. So I'm just going to stir this up, moisten it up there. And then when I get it moistened, then I'm going to fold in the dandelion petals. My husband is excited to try this too. I have so many things I have on my wish list to do this summer, and this was one of them. You can also take the dandelion roots and wash them and bake them in the oven on like 200, and they're supposed to be a substitute for coffee. I'm excited. I think I might try that. Some of the coffee lovers said that they say it tastes pretty similar. So, I mean, that's worth a try, right? And then I'm going to dump these in. And you try to get as little of the green off of the flour as you can. But, you know, it's not going to be perfect. And as long as you don't get a whole lot of the green in there, the green is more bitter. Okay, so I'm just going to fold those in, and then I'm going to put it into my pan, and we're going to bake this on 400 for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to turn it down to 350 and continue to check it like every 5 minutes with a toothpick until the center is done. If you're like me, I have dandelions in the yard. I remember a time we used to actually spray for dandelions. Can you believe that? And then here I am all these years later out there searching for them because I want to make stuff with them. Crazy how life works, isn't it? All right, I'm going to put this in my preheated oven for 15 minutes at 400. And then we'll check it every 5 minutes and turn it down to 350. If you have a bunch of zucchini from your garden, like we do, like my daughter does, what we did last night is we sliced this up, put it on a pan, put pizza sauce, pepperoni, mozzarella on it. You could even do onions and peppers, and made little keto zucchini pizzas. I told you my husband is trying to watch his sugar and his carbs. They were delicious. I took a bite of his, really, really good. So kind of a fun new way to use up your zucchini. One of the other things I've been doing this morning is I was foraging for wild lettuce leaves. And I will link the video for the guy that showed me how to do this. It's actually supposed to be something that you can make kind of like an extract to use for pain relief. So yeah, I'm going to make some of this. We have a bunch of it growing wild, and he said the kind when it starts to flower is the best ones to harvest the leaves. Now, he used a dehydrator
or a freeze dryer. I don't have one of those anymore, so I'm just going to leave mine out here in a box and let it dry for a few days, and then I'm going to process it like the video showed. Now I've had mine going for about an additional 20 minutes, and again, I'm cooking it outside in the turkey roaster because I don't want to heat up my house. So your oven may vary. So again, just check it every 5 minutes until a toothpick comes out clean. Smells really, really good.
This is delicious. It tastes like real bread, like a honey bread that you would buy in the store to make a sandwich. It's absolutely delicious. So I hope you enjoyed the video that I put together for you today. Be sure and check out those videos in the description box of the basic muffin mix. And also if you're interested in the wild lettuce pain relief extract. So thanks for watching today, and I hope you have a great week.